Howdy, and thank you for having interest in the work we do here at Ohio State University. This webinar, like other Farm Bill webinars that we have done, will go over one portion of the 2018 Farm Bill and the decisions ahead of producers in 2019 and 2020. This specific webinar will go over the agriculture risk coverage county-based option and the price loss coverage option and illustrate a decision tool that we have built to help producers make the decision between the two programs. To get started, if you go to any search browser, any internet browser, and plug in go.osu.edu/farmbill2019, again, that's go.osu.edu/farmbill2019, it'll take you to our Decision Central page. Now this page has a welcome video to describe everything that we have available within our related to the 2018 Farm Bill here at Ohio State University. But for this video, we're going to click on the ARC County and PLC Decision tools. This will take you to a page where the first logo you'll see is our Ohio State University logo, and that allows you to access our decision tool. We've also got a couple of webinar videos that go over how to use the tools for your use. But some of our partner institutions, including the University of Illinois and the Farm.Daily team, have created a decision tool as well. Theirs is an online internet-based tool. Kansas State University, along with Oklahoma State University, have created a decision tool. Their tool focuses more on crops that aren't commonly grown in Ohio, like cotton and sorghum. And then Texas A&M and the University of Missouri also have a decision-based tool available for your use. So these are just, again, additional tools. You can access them by clicking on the respective logos. And it'll take you to a decision tool much similar to what we're going to show you here from Ohio State University. So to get started, if you click on our logo, it'll bring up an Excel-based tool. As this tool is loading, I'm going to go ahead and switch screens. That way we make sure that we're all looking at the same screen. Oops, excuse me, sorry, wrong screen. So this is the screen you'll see when you come in to the tool. The first thing you're going to need to do is enable content, as this allows the formulas and functions to work properly. And if you click this Begin Here button, it takes you to our Directions tab. Now this Directions tab starts off with a legal disclaimer. Basically what this says is this is an educational product and all decisions are made by those of the users. As a state institution, Ohio State University is not allowed to make the decision for you, but our role is to give you the best information so you can make the most informed decision that you can. That just says that it's an educational product and the decisions are made by those of the producers. If you look down here, the next set of buttons you see are related to the different tools within this product. Now we've covered the PLC Yield Update tool in a different webinar, and you can access that on our webinars tab as well. But this tool contains decision aids for corn, soybeans, and wheat. Now, if you have any questions about any of the terminology or understanding the charts that are contained within the tool, you can come back to this Directions tab and hit Understanding Charts. It takes you down to a description of what each chart is telling you, how to read the charts and how to interpret them to make a decision. You can access this information, and then when you're done, you can click back to the top and it takes you up back to these resources available. So to get started, we're going to click on the Corn Decision tool. No specific reason for choosing corn other than it comes first in the alphabet. And you'll notice that there's a lot of numbers and a lot of information available. Now this is actually pretty straightforward and pretty easy to understand. Part of the reason why we want to do this webinar is to make sure producers understand the choices and decisions available to them. The first decision that a farmer is going to have to make is what state do they want to use. Now we've got all states listed here. The default option is automatically set to Ohio. However, if you want to choose a different county, for instance, I'm going to choose a different county. Let's choose Champaign County, for instance. Now the next button that a producer has to choose is select the practice. This is the difference between irrigated and non-irrigated. If you don't have any irrigated acres, you're going to want to keep it at non-irrigated. However, if you do have irrigated acres, the next thing you're going to have to ask yourself is, are you in a county that allows for the separation between irrigated and non-irrigated? In Ohio, there's only 4 counties that have that separate distinction. For Ohio, those are Champaign, Pickaway, Ross, and Williams counties. Those have a separate irrigated, non-irrigated distinction. However, we're just going to keep it at non-irrigated for now. However, there is the choice to switch it to irrigated if you do choose so. The next discussion is related to the PLC yields. Again, we discussed the yield update in a different webinar, and you can access that on our decision page. However, what we have done is we've pulled through the respective counties' average PLC yield. Notice that for Champaign County, that yield is 122 bushels per acre. However, if we choose Crawford County, that changes to 136 bushels per acre. However, the producer also has the opportunity, since these are supposed to be based on individual farm FSA yields, you can change this to 140 if you would like, and that is an available option to you, or you can keep the county average PLC yield in there for your use. The next thing that a producer has to decide is, what do you think yields are going to be in 2019? Now, this Farm Bill decision doesn't have to be made till March 15th. So we actually recommend here at Ohio State that producers wait a little bit to see what county yields are going to look like, get a better handle on what yields are expected to be for the county, and also the price component. We're a long way from knowing what these market year average prices are going to be. Keep in mind, for corn and soybeans, the marketing year runs from September 1st to August 31st. And so we're only just a little bit into the 2019-2020 marketing year. And so it's important to know what's available to you in terms of prices. So we recommend waiting a little bit. However, if you want to go ahead and play with the tool, you're more than welcome to do that. Since the agriculture risk county option is just that, a county-based program, it is based on county average yields. So what we have done is, if you look down here in the 2018 Farm Bill section, which is represented by this green shaded area, this pale green shaded area, what we've got here is that trend line yield estimates for Crawford County in 2019 are expected at 192 bushels per acre. And I'm going to highlight that with that cell right there. So that's what trend line yields would expect. However, given the planting troubles that we had in 2019, and given how it's possible that the harvest is going to be a little bit late this year, we've added in the function that you can actually select a decrease if you would like. You can also select an increase if you feel like your yields are going to be higher than average. So again, if we throw in a 10% yield decrease, that lowers our 2019 yields for a county average yield down to 172. So you can look at that and check to see if that's where you think it's going to be. And so for 2019, you can play around with these yields, throw in a 20% decline that drops county-based yields all the way down to 153. You're going to notice that our chart and our decision tool over here on the right-hand side is going to make adjustments, and we'll point that out, and we'll talk about that here in just a second based on what you choose. But overall, we've got a couple of decisions still to make. One, we have to decide what marketing year average prices are going to look like. Now, keep in mind, these are national prices, not local cash prices. These are national marketing year prices, not taking into account any local basis. And you'll notice that, at least for our estimates, we're expecting a national price of $3.59. Now, if you think that's too low, you can plug in a national price that's a little bit higher. If you think we're too high, you can plug in a lower price, and it allows you to make that adjustment. You'll notice it's making changes to our graphs over here on the left. So these are 2019. This column right here represents 2019. However, this is a 2-year decision, meaning that the decision you make this year will also be in place for the 2020 Farm Bill. So we have allowed you to play with the 2020 Farm Bill years. And so if you think that you're going to have an average yield or slightly better in 2020, so let's throw a 5% increase into 2020, just say that we rebound and we have adequate weather next year, you can plug that into your formula. We've got a national average price in 2020 is somewhere around $3.40. If you think that's wrong, you can put your own yields in if you'd like. And so those are really the decisions that you as a producer need to make from the get-go. Outside of that, the tool does all the calculating for you. Now, everything shaded in the light blue area is the 2014 to 2018 Farm Bill. We've added these numbers in just for reference and validation to help you understand how the programs work, because we think it's important to understand how these formulas are calculated. We've given you several years of examples here for your use, but it also allows you to come down here and look at the performance section. Now, this performance section includes both the previous Farm Bill and the current Farm Bill. The left-hand side of the columns are the 2014 Farm Bill, so the previous year. And what we see here is that this top graph, the red bars represent the ARC County payments. So when the ARC County program triggered payments, the gray bars represent the price loss coverage program. So when the price loss coverage program made payments. And you see that for the first 3 years of the Farm Bill, the ARC County program made payments, whereas it did not in the back 2 years. However, the PLC program triggered payments in 4 out of the 5 years. However, since this was a 5-year decision where producers were making one decision at the beginning of the Farm Bill that was going to last 5 years, we've annualized these payments together. So we signified that over the lifetime of this Farm Bill, producers in Crawford County, Ohio got an average of $55 per acre for the ARC County. Keep in mind that the years they did trigger payments, they were well above that $55 per acre, but we had 0 payments in 2017 and 2018. So we annualized those over the 5-year period. Same way with the price loss coverage program. We triggered payments in 4 years, but not in 14. However, over the lifetime of the Farm Bill, the agriculture risk coverage payment program performed better than the price loss coverage program. We've done the exact same thing for the 2018 Farm Bill. This top graph represents the agriculture risk coverage and price loss coverage program expected payments based on the assumptions that you made earlier in the graph or earlier in the tool. And then we annualize these over 2 years because the 2019 decision will last for both 2019 and 2020. And so at least based on the assumptions that we made earlier in the scenario above, the PLC program looks to be a little bit more favorable over the 2 years. However, as I mentioned, we want you to understand these tools and how they work and when they trigger payments. And so what we've got over here in our next series of graphs represents how the programs work and how they make payments. Again, we've divided this black line, this dotted black line between the previous Farm Bill and the current Farm Bill. So the 2014 Farm Bill on your left, the 2018 Farm Bill on your right. The top graph in each section is the Agricultural Risk Coverage County program. The bottom graph is the Price Loss Coverage program. In both cases, when the red bar or red line falls below the black bar or the black line, it triggers a payment. And the difference between the black line and the red bar signifies when a payment could occur and the magnitude of it. So if we look at the Agricultural Risk Coverage program, this black line represents our historical benchmark. The red bars represent our actual revenue for the county. And we see that early on in the program, so 14, 15, 16, Crawford County triggered payments, but it did not in 2017, 20, and 2018. We can check that by saying, yes, we did get payments in the first 3 years, but nothing in the back 2 years. Similar for our 2018 Farm Bill, these red checkered bars out here on the side represent the estimates based on the decisions you made earlier. And you can see that it does not look like there's going to be a payment in 2020, but there could be in 2019. And we did see that when we go back and look at our performance section. It is triggering a $15 per acre payment there in 2019. The price loss coverage is a little bit easier to understand from the standpoint that it is just this reference price for corn. The reference price is $3.70 per bushel, represented by this black line. The red line represents the average marketing year average prices. So again, that national price from September 1st through August 31st. And you see that when the red line falls below the black line, it triggers a payment. And we see that the red line is below the black line in 16, 17, and 18, and even 15, even 2015. So if we go back to our performance measures, we do see the PLC program triggering payments in 15, 16, 17, and 18. If we look ahead at our performance section for the current Farm Bill, this dotted purple line represents the 2018 Farm Bill, and we see that based on our assumptions above, we are seeing PLC prices that remain below that 370 reference price. If we come back up and we change these assumptions, so let's say that actually corn yields are coming in for our county pretty close to average or pretty close to the trend line yield for our county. We can actually put that 0% change back into the mix. So again, we have that 0 change from average. You'll notice that our program payments go away for 2019, but we're still expecting a PLC payment in 2020 because our marketing price remains below that 370 reference price. If you want to change any of these assumptions and just want to go back to the default options, you can hit reset. Again, remember that this is going to change your county. So if you want to go back, you're going to need to reselect your county. So in this case, let's select let's select Clark County, for instance. Now we've got Clark County worked into our mix, and if we hit reset, it's going to set it back to Allen County. Just know that that is what's happening, but it resets all our options. Once you've got corn figured out, you're welcome to try out soybeans. The picture is exactly the same in terms of how the program works and how the tool helps producers make decisions. We also have wheat available for producers that are interested in wheat. One final thing, and I talked about this earlier on our directions tab, is if you have any question about any of the information over here in terms of what these terms actually mean or how the data is calculated, where the data is coming from and how the information is calculated, you can click on the cells that are underlined, and up comes a benchmark or an infographic that tells you where this information is coming from and how the data is calculated. And with that, if you have any additional information, I encourage you to check out the Directions tab. We have lots of information about terminology on the Directions tab. And if you have additional questions, we encourage you to reach out to us with our contact information included on that OSU website. Again, that website is go.osu.edu/Farm Bill 2019. We hope this information is useful for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we look forward to seeing you around the state of Ohio soon. Thank you and have a great day.